Stand shut of water cordoned off. No look through that.
He will give way with the policy.
Yeah, but it's not that I can get a little
Come on. I've got some bets.
They did do that last time.
That's probably the other side of it.
Could very well be. Oh, I don't know.
Anti-protesters are the ones picking up all the fucking firearms.
Leader is a traitor. Leader is a traitor.
Tommy March people let coloured flares and so I don't know, it might not be Antifa. I don't think they've been round here, to be honest.
I haven't seen a genuine Antifa before.
They kept them all in a little pen at the Tommy March, it's quite funny. They was all dead quiet. They're nothing like the American and European Antifa. They're thugs, absolute organised crime behind all the stores. Yeah.
This will be the bit that's on the news because they're lucky things.
Britain. Welcome to the belly of the beast. Welcome to the place where they are betraying Brexit. Down there is Downing Street. Guess who lives at Downing Street? The Prime Minister, Mrs May. Up there is Parliament, where they betray Brexit, and all around us is Whitehall, where they're betraying Brexit. So we meet here today to say no more. We want our country back. Stop betraying Brexit. Now the first speaker we have is a man who's fought all his life, his political life, to get us out of the EU. He's written the book to get out of the EU, and it's well worth reading. He's also the man that earlier this year single-handedly saved UKIP from destruction. He'll hate me saying it, and he'll give me a good kicking afterwards, but I can introduce him, Gerrard Bulldog Batten.
Hello everybody! It's great to see you all here. Thousands and thousands of people come out to say they want a real exit from the European Union. What do we say to all of those who say, you shouldn't do it, you mustn't go out, there might be trouble? Oh, ye of little faith, look at this today. Now, what is the best definition of democracy that anyone has ever come up with? I think it was Abraham Lincoln when he said democracy is government of the people, by the people, for the people. Hey! Where do we live now? We live under a system which is government by the European Union for the European Union of the British people. We no longer live in a democracy. For 45 years, there has been a cancer at the heart of our political life and our national life, and that has been membership of the European Union. In 1973, we joined the European Economic Community. We were lied to about its true nature. Over the years, we have been lied to time and time again. And at the heart of the problem, there was always this issue. Are we going to be governed from Brussels, or are we going to be governed by our own democratically elected parliament and government? Well, that issue went unresolved as more and more power was transferred to Brussels. And meanwhile, throughout the decades, all the political parties continued to lie about the true nature of the European Union and what was really happening. 25 years ago, the UK Independence Party was formed in order to use the democratic system to bring about change. UKIP's central aim was always to restore democratic government to the United Kingdom. We want to be governed under our own constitution, under our own laws, made by our own democratically elected parliament. And it was the UKIP electoral threat and nothing else that secured the referendum of 2016. And let's recall what David Cameron said about that referendum. Let me quote to you. Quote, "You, the British people, will decide. At that moment, you will hold the country's destiny in your hands. This is a huge decision for our country, perhaps the biggest we will make in our lifetimes, and it will be the final decision." Mr. Cameron concluded, quote, "When the British people speak, their voice will be respected, not ignored. If we vote to leave, then we will leave. There will not be another negotiation. There will not be another referendum." Mr. Cameron could not have put it plainer than that. But he was lying to us then, and we're being lied to again now. On the 23rd of June 2016, 17.4 million people voted to leave the European Union. And that was despite all the lies of the Remain side. Despite the political, media and international establishment campaigning for Remain, they still lost. The British people had seen to the heart of the problem and decided by a majority that they wanted to be governed by themselves and not from Brussels. Hey! But that gave the establishment a problem. They had expected to Remain to win, and it didn't. They had to come up with a plan that enabled them to betray the referendum. The first step in that plan was to put a Remainer, Theresa May, in charge of the leaving process. The second step was for Mrs May to devise a plan with the European Commission whereby the whole process could be impeded and delayed for as long as possible, and then made to look so difficult that the Brexit referendum decision would eventually be overturned. The third step is where we are now. We have a withdrawal agreement with the worst possible terms, an agreement that neither satisfies leave or Remain. The fourth step, which is coming, will be to reverse the referendum decision completely. This is where our political establishment is now. The whole elaborate charade of the last 2 years has been to demonstrate to us that it is just too difficult to leave and we have to remain inside the European Union. Next week, Parliament is likely to vote against Mrs May's deal. They may seek even worse terms for a new deal or find a way of reversing the decision of the referendum altogether. If Parliament does not take Britain out of the European Union, it will be the biggest constitutional crisis since the English Civil War. In 1642, the King put himself in opposition to the Parliament. Parliament won and the King lost his head. If Parliament betrays Brexit, they will be putting themselves in opposition to the people.
Chop their
And
heads
if
off!
they win, you lose your liberty.
No way!
My message and UKIP's message to Parliament is clear and simple. Dump the deal. And take Britain out of the European Union now. Now I'm going to tell you how to do it. Now I'm going to tell you how to do it. The whole Brexit process has been conducted on an entirely false basis. That we can only leave the European Union on the EU's terms. That is not true. I have said consistently for 25 years that the only way we'll leave is by means of unilateral and unconditional withdrawal. We must leave under our terms and not the European Union's. This is what a patriotic government and Parliament would have done, and it will never be too late to do it. First, we must repeal the European Communities Act 1972. Then we have left under our law, not the EU's law. Having done that, chaos would not ensue because all EU law would stay in place anyway by means of Acts of Parliament. But Parliament could then begin to repeal and amend those laws in accordance with our priorities and our timescales. We can offer the EU continued tariff-free trade, or they can have WTO terms. It's their choice, not ours, but if we don't give them that choice, they can't make it. We could offer a genuinely reciprocal deal on citizens' rights, a deal that actually guarantees our rights as UK citizens on the continent as much as we have guaranteed their rights over here. All remaining issues can be approached in an order of priority and in a spirit of friendly but firm cooperation. And it's in the interests of the European Union to reach an accommodation with us. A patriotic government that wanted to leave the European Union would not have asked the EU how it can do it. It would have told them how it's going to happen.
We know it's going on, and I would like to publicly thank Major General Julian Thompson, CB, Royal Marines. Rear Admiral Roger Lane Knott, CB, Royal Navy. Brian Gerrard at UK Column. And my good friend David Ellis, Director, Strategic Defence Initiatives, UK, for exposing the government on this subject
and guarantee my support in continuing the fight against military unification. It's time to get the lid off this issue and inform the people of this country of what's being discussed behind the closed doors.
British and Commonwealth people have willingly given up their lives for our priceless freedoms. And paramount amongst those freedoms is the freedom to make our own laws. Ladies and gentlemen, we want that freedom back.
Thank you very much indeed, Lord Pearson. Some of you may have read in your newspapers that Lord Pearson had a lunch guest not very long ago, and that lunch guest got him into a lot of trouble in the House of Lords. And that lunch guest is our next speaker, Tommy Robinson.
First of all, I just want to say thank you again. Thank you for your impeccable behaviour all day. You know, I'm one of the 30 to 40% of people who don't vote. I've never voted. None of my friends have voted. I've never voted because there's no one to vote for. There's no one that speaks about the issues that affect me and in my town and the issues that will affect my children's future. Now that issue with the British public, which is what we need to change. The Labour Party are the party throughout my family's history that they would have voted for. They're the party that used to represent the working class. They have betrayed us. They have abandoned us. 90% of Labour's MPs are middle class. We need a party. We need a political voice. We need to electrify the working class communities of this country. And I believe for too long we've looked across Europe. For too long I've got excited about the elections in Sweden or in France or in Holland as we watch the populist parties grow. We watch across Europe the election in Austria, the election in Italy. And for too long, we get excited about other countries. It's our turn, and it's our time, and this country is ready. And I'd like to ask as many of you, I know you've spent your money coming here. I know it's 2 weeks till Christmas. I want to ask as many of you to join me with what I'm about to do. I'd like to ask you to go on your phones. It's the price of a beer. The only way that there can be a political option is for the public to support it, back it and join it. That's the only way. The only way. So I've got my phone out. I'm going to go on UKIP's website. I know everyone's on their phones videoing, but I'd like as many of you as possible to get your phone out. It's £4 a month. It's the price of a beer. The price of a beer in London, anyway. And join through the membership with UKIP. If you're watching this at home, do you know what? Gerrard's put his neck on the line for his personal self. There's been, I believe, resignations all week from UKIP.
Thank you.
To all the people in UKIP who were worried, don't worry, because the cavalry has arrived. UKIP's membership since Gerrard took over. When you hear of the talk of a vote of no confidence, their membership's gone up 25% since Gerrard took over. There's targets, and that trend, Gerrard and UKIP can be a voice for the working class communities watching and listening to this, when no other politician will talk about Islam, no other politician will talk about the issues that you fear, the fear and the threat to our country. So as many of you as possible, if you're watching this at home, I'm going to go through the process now. This is going to be a bit of a chore, because usually when it's any forms of filling things out, I just say, Jenna, sort this out, babe. So I'm going to... 30 quid for the year. £30 for the year membership, or £4 a month. So I'm going to go through this, put in your donation. Sorry if this is going to hold us up. I know the police have got a time frame on it. I don't know what name to fill out. This guy. And if you're watching this, please do it as well. Anyone out there, please join. Let them see a growing trend of membership, and it will strike fear into the establishment.
Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson.
Right, now just the final button. So I pre-put my bank details in. Declined. Gerrard, that's something you're going to have to sort out, mate. But again, I'll just finish my bit on a personal thank you to every single one of you, and let this be the start of a political mass movement in this country to represent every single one of you that feels voiceless, that has no representation. And more than anything, when I went to the House of Lords with Lord Pearson, and I saw the reaction, and I saw MPs, whilst under parliamentary privilege, saying disgraceful lies about me, I sat for the first time and thought, one day I'll be sitting in there amongst you. Just to trigger you all, just for... But no, thank you every single one of you. Love to every single one of you. And I hope everyone has a great Christmas.
Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson. Whoa, Tommy Robinson. Whoa, Tommy Robinson.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Tommy Robinson. I think before we have our last speaker, I think Mrs. May needs to hear from us again. Is that all right? Okay. Now this time, I really want to hear you. I want to hear the people right up the back. I want to hear people right up the front, okay? And the chant is, Brexit means exit. 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 Mrs. May, can you hear us? Okay, our last speaker is once more a big hand.
This is a song called Rule Britannia. Some of you might know